Hi everyone, welcome to the Crypto Hub podcast. I'm Shafeeq Qureshi, your host and founder of the Crypto Hub platform, where we are building a one-stop platform for cryptos and Web3. If you are an investor or a founder or a key opinion leader in the crypto space, make sure you get in touch with us and get on the podcast. As part of our series of exclusive interviews with founders, investors, and key opinion leaders in cryptos and Web3, I'll be bringing to you today an interview with Mohammad Mahfoudh, who is the founder and CEO of SpheraWorld.com. Just to let you know, Sphera World recently featured in the Crypto Hub and Bybit Crypto.org, the blockchain Vanguard event that took place in Dubai on the 6th of September recently. So before we get started, Mohammed, first of all, thanks a lot for being being part of this podcast.
Okay.
And why don't you start by giving us a little overview of how you got into this space and what's your journey been like in the Web3 and crypto space?
All right. Thank you for having me. So I started around 2016, 2017 as an independent advisor to some of the projects here in Dubai and in different regions. And 2018, I set up a company, Deka4 Advisory, which is basically a consultancy advisory company in the Web3 tokenization. It started at the beginning in security tokens, and then we expanded to cover all different type of tokenization projects. And one of them is this Sphera project that we entered into a joint venture with the leading sport portal in the Middle East.
So Sphera World is part of the Deka4.
Deka4 is a JV partner. Currently, we're managing it. Think of it as an incubated. And by the next quarter or two, we will, offload it independently. We're setting up an independent team. Currently, we're running it fully to launch it.
Okay.
And then it's an independent entity that Deka4 is a partner in.
That's very interesting. And Deka4 is based in Dubai?
And based in UAE, yes. We're in different Emirates and Dubai, Sharjah, and Abu Dhabi. So, and we are a small independent company. We don't sell any technology platforms. So we work with the different players in the market. And we have a team globally in Latin America and Canada and Europe. So we're not focused here. Most of our projects are outside. And now we're doing lots of work inside here.
That's very interesting. And Dubai obviously has become a hub for Web3 and blockchain projects. And I know the Dubai government has been working on a lot of initiatives to promote it, and a lot of entrepreneurs are moving to this city and to the UAE in general. Especially, we're seeing with VARA, coming up with the regulatory policies. ADGM has been working on a lot of those initiatives for many years now. I remember when I moved here in 2018, ADGM was already in action. So how do you see this whole space growing? I mean, before we start talking about Sphera World, I'd like to get your inputs and thoughts about how do you see the overall space of digital technologies, emerging technologies growing in the UAE, and how do you see the evolution of the space happening?
I mean, as you said, it's really one of the fast growing. Actually, we're lucky to be here. The government is very progressive. Lots of initiatives, lots of support. Of course, there are growing pains. Many issues and mistakes will be there. But giving even on a global scene, I think here is very, very progressive and too many things happening at the same time. So we're already seeing lots of companies like, where we are right now, international companies from the East and the West and, everywhere coming here to Dubai, to Abu Dhabi. Now also we have RACDAO as well, one of the...
Yes.
So that diversity is really exciting and creates so many opportunities. And for us, for example, from an advisory, it's also, we see lots of growth. We used to focus a lot outside. Now we're focusing in-house because we're lots of projects that we see in Dubai and Abu Dhabi coming in. So it's a very exciting time.
Very interesting. And, from my observation, I've looked at your profile. You have a very strong academic background with, MBAs from the US, and also you studied at the London Business School, if I'm not mistaken. So to see people with, and then you have serious, like solid business experience behind you, to see people with your sort of background in the Web3 space, which is generally very young and, obviously very energetic. So it kind of gives this whole space like more credibility, the way I see it.
I don't know if I take that as a compliment or, you're trying to say I'm too old, which is fine. I mean, of course, the any new technology, jump in it, but that's not always true because, if people have been through multiple disruptions. So I'm too old to be around the internet when things started, and I saw how things changed, compared to the younger generation. So you got to look at it and say, okay, what is the next wave and how do I benefit by getting early as an individual, as a company, and even as a country? That's saying, there's a huge initiative. And there are lots of very mature business people in the domain. Maybe you don't see them in the events and the activities, the outside activities, but this is an industry that is getting more and more serious. If you look at one part of the industry, the security token is mostly, these mature capital market, finance, legal background, taking that step, which is an industry that's very small right now, but it's going to be, a substantial subset. To us, we look at it in a holistic view and see what things can be done. The younger generation may be more into, creating these gamification, DeFi and these kind of things, which is important to create, the communities and the liquidities in these communities. So, it's good. I mean, we look at it from a business perspective. I keep telling people, ask me, what do we do at Deca4? And I tell them we bridge the old with the new. So we have the ability, because of that background, to talk to the traditional businesses, explain to them how is DeFi going to disrupt the financial sector? How is, tokenization going to make, fundraising easier? Sukuk, for example, issuance as a security token or real world assets is, something we can interpret. So we build financial models that are the traditional community and business people are aware of, and explain how the token will be represented in the balance sheet or the income statement. So these are the benefits, having the, the experience, as you say, or being exposed to that. And that industries are industries. There are lots of, similarities from, different industries that we see the patterns repeated, and we're trying to take advantage of these similarities.
That's, definitely. Actually, I was giving you a compliment because I'm also from a different generation. Most of the people that I work with in Web3 are half my age. So, you can guess my age as well. But definitely, I can relate to that because this is an evolving space and we need all types of, stakeholders in it. More experience coming from traditional markets as well. My background actually is also a mix of financial markets, trading technologies out of London. And, then I moved into this space. So there is obviously similarities. But like you said, there are a lot of different aspects of the blockchain, crypto, Web3 space. And it's not just, there's digital assets, there's tokenization, there's gamification, there is DeFi, there is NFTs. So I guess there is enough for everybody to focus on. Coming back to Sphera world, I had a look at, a brief look at the pitch, and obviously you had Sphera world, which was featured at the Bybit and the Crypto Arc event that took place last week here, and I think a lot of people found it very interesting. So as I understand, Sphera world is bringing the space of sports and fans into Web3 using blockchain. Is that correct?
Yes. So it's a Web3. So the main the strength of Sphera World is our partners. So we have a joint venture with the company behind Quora.com. Quora.com is the largest sport portal in MENA region, Arabic content. Last year they won the prestigious award of the Arab Media Award for Best Sport Portal. It's like the Oscar for the media company here in the Arab world. So it's a star within the MENA region. We identify, sport is one of the segments that's jumping into Web3 faster than many other industries, as we see globally. In the Middle East, we don't have any major player on this. We have lots of fragmented solutions. We partner with Quora because they have, the whole Middle East from Mauritania, all North Africa, every Arab country, all the way to Comoros Islands, for example, the Gulf region. Everywhere you go, Quora is the leading portal where people look at it for news, sport news. It doesn't have broadcasting or anything, just news, free content, and has a massive user base. They get more than 25 million unique visits a month with a very high loyalty. So you have that concentrated user base, sport fan. You have a kind of an empty marketplace currently in the Arab world for sports, Web3 projects, as well as Arabic content. The Arabic content is very underserved in every technology, and now it's picking up more. People are like, if you go many countries like Saudi Arabia, you see a very heavy usage of Arabic compared to, let's say, what we see here in Dubai. So that's a market segment that we haven't seen being targeted properly. So we're trying to target the Arabic-speaking sport fans using the Quora, and then expanding beyond that. We're not exclusive to MENA, because we also look into the India, Pakistan in terms of cricket and different sports. And utilizing, building a Web3 platform, inshallah, will become the leading platform for sport in this region, in Middle East, Asia, and maybe Africa as well.
I think that definitely sounds like the right niche, because one, you have such a huge audience who is interested in sports, like, from football to cricket, and then you have the MENA region, which is huge enough. And then you have the greater neighboring countries, like you mentioned, India and Pakistan, and the Southeast Asian countries, which have a huge population and a huge fan base. So what is exactly that Sphera is offering to these stakeholders or these audiences, that the market segment that you're looking at?
Yeah, so we're starting in a very simple value proposition. We're utilizing the NFTs. We're not going to reinvent, maybe in the future we'll come into tokenization of players and clubs. But right now, just, working with the NFTs as the main entry point, because we have access from our partners to the sport utilities. So we can create unique value proposition in terms of, we're not going to just sell NFTs that, have fancy pictures or whatever. They will be access to very highly needed or sought after utilities, access to matches, to, we could get private tours in certain clubs. Not only in the Middle East, we have access to some countries in Europe, some in Latin America. We have access to physical items that we can, bring it to the sport fans. At the same time, we're trying to create an entry point to the sport community, the clubs, the players, to jump into the Web3 in a proper environment that fits our region. We don't want to, of course, we look into the projects in Europe and US and say, how do we copy them? But then market is different here. The clubs are not owned privately, most of them. The dynamics of financials of the sport is different than Europe, different than the US. The players here, you need to look into how they can create, how do they benefit, whether it's a language issue or an understanding of the journey. So we're trying to make Sphera as a, initially, as I said, MENA region, because of the access we have, and give a platform to both the players, the clubs and the players, and the fans. And so initially we're doing NFT marketplace. We partner with Hashgraph Association. We're building on Hedera Hashgraph. And eventually the product will be multi-chain and moving to different protocols. But currently we're working closely with Hashgraph Association and with Hedera and building something, targeting Web2 users, giving them access to the Web3 by issuing NFTs that have very valuable sport utilities to that community. It might not be attractive to the Web3 community. The attraction to the Web3 is that they know that there is some people interested in the utilities from the Web2, and that's where we're going to be mixing Web3 and Web2 communities in this project. With the initial focus, honestly, so far we have only been targeting Web2 community. We're not yet coming to the Web3, but soon, inshallah, we will.
So basically, as we've been hearing about the Web 2.5, like there is Web 3, obviously Web 3, Web 2.5. So you're sort of the bridge between the Web 2 and the Web 3 when it comes to the utility you're providing through Sphera World and and how you're bridging between the clubs and the fans, if I understand it correctly, right?
Yeah, so let me make it. So Web3 people are good and bad in a way. So they are the ones who create liquidity, create traction. They create the noise, which is heavily needed in any project. When you look at our market, let's be very pragmatic, very, to the point here. MENA region, like the Web3 community is so many different nationalities, so many, especially like your high concentration in UAE, now Saudi Arabia is picking up. So if you look at that Web3 community, there is so many things that they want that we might not be able to satisfy with our project. Sphera World will target local clubs, or even regional clubs, as well as Europe and Latin America, as I mentioned, because we do have access to these. But from a user base, we're targeting initially this MENA region. And these guys are happy with, a $10 ticket that they get on a raffle. They're happy to buy NFTs for $3, $4, $5, and it might grow by 10, 20%. So they're not necessarily looking at that spikes because they're interested in the utilities. One thing, for example, Quora.com, 25% of the traffic comes from Morocco. Most of the traffic comes from North Africa. You have Morocco, Egypt, huge population with a huge sport. I mean, these people wake up in the morning and the first thing they look at it's Quora. So that is a market segment that's difficult to appease by creating the same product that we target the Web3. So this is one of the challenges that we have. I'm not gonna lie to you. How do we balance? If we only target Web2, they're very slow. There's, nothing happens. They will buy these things because they will get access to have a ticket or a discount, but they will not be trading, for example. And we need both. So trying to find that formula between the Web3 and the Web2, understanding the different behaviors, the different needs. So most of the target we have is the Web2 because that's where the bulk of the users are. And our assumption is that now the blockchain, the Web3 needs to grow on the users. And we believe Web2 community is hungry to come into the Web3, but you need to give them certain routes. One of them is sport. I mean, it's not the only thing, there are many different ones. But once they get in, they have a wallet, they understand the concept of NFT, trading, tokens, get into it, then they will be ready to jump into other. That's at least the assumptions that we are building this project around.
So for the sake of simplicity, obviously, for my understanding and also the understanding of other people who will be watching this, Web2 could be a very simple use case, like, you're buying a ticket, you go to a match and you watch, right? And then, so we have that market, and then you're transitioning that to sort of using NFTs, where the NFTs would possibly provide not just access to a match or an event, but more than that. And it gets you closer to possibly the club or...
Yeah, the difference between, when the internet started, the technology sometimes for the normal users, like, what's the big deal? What's the NFT? I already have, the sport community globally, they're big in collectibles, right?
Yes.
I mean, they collect physical cars, they collect pictures, images. So it's like, what's the difference here? So the NFT definitely, as we understand, allows the transferability. You could build up utilities in it that you couldn't have. For example, you could create token-gated chat group, for example, that now this type of technology allows it, and it makes it easier than the current technology that these portals are using. It gives us more creativity. Plus, we can always add utilities to it. So today, I might not have access to the European Champions League tickets, for example. Once I have it, I could associate it to a certain class of NFTs people can auction or get a discount, whatever it is. That's one of the key elements on the the usage of the NFTs, where I can constantly add these utilities, transferability, trading. Eventually, they will understand that these NFTs are with them. We're using non-custodial wallets in a Web2 format and behavior, but they actually own it and they have it. That concept is not very normal to most people, by the way. We Web3, we take it for granted. They eventually can move to other platforms.
And what is the roadmap of Sphera World? Where are we in the roadmap? Journey.
So most of the project has been so far funded by Deca4. We have our own group, private investors that have been participating on this project. Pending some verification from the legal side and market conditions, we want to start doing a fundraise from maybe mid-October or end of October. We're raising a small round of about $2 million. And we're doing it mostly through NFTs.
Okay.
So we're using what we call initial NFT offering with NFT packages. We will have a token, but we're not pushing the token because we don't believe the token will have the attraction. The NFTs, we do have access to very unique sport utilities, and these are very high in demand. And as you have seen lately, with the Saudi Arabian sports scene is increasing the sport industry aggressively, even in the US, with Messi joining Inter Miami, the tickets going 5-10 times in price. So that sport scene is going up. We're loading up lots of sports utilities, and that's where we are targeting. We want to launch beta launch by mid-October, end of October, the marketplace. Initially NFTs, and then we'll be adding gaming and other products to this project.
So basically, you're already fully funded. I think
no, we're not. I mean, we've been self-funded.
You're self-funded through Deca4.
Yeah.
But now you're going to raise more funds through the NFT sales.
Yes.
Okay. And that you said is going to happen in September, in the end of September.
We're targeting end of September. Just some
pretty soon.
We're almost ready for it. We have the target audience. We have they are already aware of it. We have some investors ready to jump in, and we're raising from the community because the focus in Web2 makes this. What I tell people, Sphera is a Web2 project using Web3 tools.
Right.
So that means the project has to be profitable. So we're looking to break even within 18 months to 24 months. So we're running it as a normal business. It has to make money. It has to create profit. And we want to shift the focus from the appreciation of tokens to actually creating money through transactions, through trading, through offering services to the community. So that's one of the key distinctions that we are trying to have.
So you mentioned the community, and that's obviously in Web3, community is your core focus, because that's how you launch your projects, that's how you grow your projects. And in terms of the communities, what is your engagement been so far, and what is the plan? How engaged are you with your current communities? Because obviously your communities will be spread around the MENA region initially, so there will be a lot of work to reach out.
It's too much work, to be honest. This is one of the key challenges we have, but we're moving very well. And the community we talk about, the problem that we have is a mix of Web2 and Web3. So when you talk to the Web2 sport fans, their behavior is so different than the Web3 community. But we know that we need to address both communities. So we're currently building up that, we're engaged with the sport community right now. And we're trying to engage with the Web3 community directly and through our partners. So for example, we have a partnership with a non-custodial wallet on Hedera ecosystem called Hashpack. We're going to be from next week, I think. Yeah, next week we're going to start, building, that noise within the Web3 community, within a small segment of it, and then growing up. At the same time, we're looking at different tools. So, I mean, this is different, altogether different discussion. But let's say Discord is very common within the Web3. It is not very common within the Web2. So we have a product from Saudi Arabia, some company actually very innovative. Maybe you'll interview them and next time. They have a Discord-like focus for Web3 and targeting Web2 user. And that's, we see more and more, even with Sphera, we're building it as a Web2, so that the user journey is very similar to the Web2 community, but using Web3 tools. So these are kind of tools that we need for the community management, to the Arabic language, which does not make things easier, but one of the plans is we set up our community management team in Egypt, for example, or Jordan, to be able to handle this traffic.
Very, very interesting. And you mentioned Hedera and your choice of using Hedera as a blockchain for building the Sphera World platform or the wallet, and within the platform. Why was there a specific reason for choosing Hedera?
We work very close with a few projects with Hedera. We did, for example, a project for the IFC court.
Okay.
On Hedera, and it was a very, it's only, I think it's the only public entity using a public DLT. We like the technology we know it, but we also work with other protocols. We're not exclusive with them because we're close to them. They're giving us support. They're giving us a grant and a support. So that's one reason. The transactions fees are very, very low in Hedera. And most of our user segments are in places like North Africa where, just paying the gas fees and other protocol might be a problem. But eventually we will be in multiple chains and, we go beyond that protocol.
That's quite interesting. Yes, definitely. Hedera has its advantages. So finally, what is the message that you want to send to your future users, to the community, in terms of how would you want them to onboard and what should they look forward to from Sphera World?
Yeah, see, we are trying to do something non-traditional. So we're not pushing this as a Web3 project. So we're not doing the FOMO marketing. We're not saying people are going to get 10x. We want to build a community from real users. And whoever is interested, if you are in 1 or 2 years journey, please do come. If you think something will come within the next few months, that is not what we are building. We're putting lots of effort in the Web 2, because if I target Quora only, you're talking about 20, 30 million potential users that I can talk to. Of course, I don't expect all of them to come, but I have a very good focused user base. There is a lot of work in this. And whoever is interested, we're already working with some of the community members. So we have Crypto Oasis, we have Shisha Finance as advisors with us, and we want this project to be a Middle East project. We're welcoming everybody, Crypto Hub or whoever wants to join us. We're more than happy to look into it. Again, we are a Web 2 project using Web 3 tools. We need to build up the community. We're talking to the sport clubs, the players to onboard. We want to create the biggest sport Web 3. We think it will take us between 18 to 24 months to reach a substantial size where, we can be able to compete. We might be able to do it faster, but that's currently the target and the plan.
Thank you very much. So basically, users or people who are in the space of crypto, blockchain, Web3, and they're into sports and they're looking for a solid project, which is not just based on hype and buzz, but which has a longer term vision, where you're building a platform which will be catering a lot of and bridging Web 2 to Web 3. So they should look at Sphera World.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you on the Crypto Hub podcast. For the users, I would just like to say, if you want to know more about Sphera World, please go to spheraworld.com, follow the socials, and get to know more about their roadmap and what they're bringing next.
Thank you.